And we're live. Hello and welcome to the Minneapolis Running live Google chat. We are live here at Mill City Running in Northeast Minneapolis, just steps from the Mississippi River. I'm Nathan Freeberg, your host, and I am joined by two hot runners right now, the hottest in the United States perhaps, Mr. William Leer and Kampf. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Good. Sorry about our technical difficulties. We were playing with. And we're live. Hello and welcome. And that's really confusing. It sounds like we live have Google chat. We are live here at Mill City Running in Northeast Minneapolis. Awesome about technology. You just kind of roll with it. You play with it. You figure out what's going on. Then you fix it. So there, we're done. So guys, thanks for coming tonight. Appreciate you being here. I've got some tough questions here. These are going to be some pretty intense questions. So I hope you're ready to cry, maybe laugh a little bit. But first of all, let me say who these guys are. To my right, your left, or how that works, Mr. William Leer. He has a PR in the mile of 352.47. Is that correct? Correct. That's correct. That was this year at the Wanamaker 1 mile in February, and I believe that's currently the fastest mile in the world this year.
You're gonna have to tell me. You looked up the stats.
Yeah, I did Google that, so that is correct. And you have a 3:35 1500 PR. Which, for those of you math whizzes, that's shorter than a mile by about 100 meters or something. 4-time 109. He's a math guy. 4-time NCAA Division III champion at Pomona College. Pomona.
Yeah, it's a very, very important distinction.
Yes, I apologize. Is that the rival school? Pomona?
Yeah.
No, Pneumonia, something.
Pneumonia College doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's a school for doctors, but in California. So welcome back. And to my left, your right, or maybe it's, I don't know how it works, we have the Queen of the Mile, Heather Kampf, who has a 2.00.04 PR in 800, which is 0.04 is very important to you, because you want to get rid of that, right? Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And a mile PR of 4:27 and a 1500 PR of 4:08.
4:07 as of last Friday.
Oh! I'm firing my research team right now. And she was the 2012 TC 1 mile champion with the time of something fast. And just recently, she's the Grand Blue 1 mile road champion, which is the U.S. Road Championship. Correct? Right.
Yep.
So first of all, congratulations to both of you on your world champion appearance at Sopot, Poland. They were representing the United States in the World Championship, so congratulations to you guys.
Thank you.
How has your training been since then? What have you been up to? I know that you've both been running some races and a little sandy.
For some of us.
For some of us, might have had a recent sand-filled race.
Yeah, I think some sand is still on my beard, actually.
Yeah.
It's been going really well. You know, obviously, if my beard is any indication of how well training has been going, I'd say it's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's good.
Strong to quite strong.
Do you think that you get the majority of your speed from your beard, or is that just a...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't shy away from that fact at all. I mean, I don't think it's any coincidence that with the beard has come success.
No, absolutely not. If you actually do a Google image search of Will Leer, you'll find him in various degrees of beard length, and I think that definitely corresponds to some of your PR times as well.
Absolutely. I've never run a PR without facial hair, so.
Right. So our first tip for all of you amateur runners, grow a beard, and that will help.
Yeah. Much as the chagrin of your significant others.
Right.
Especially if you're a woman.
Yeah, well, I was just going to add, Heather, how does the facial hair affect your PRs, would you say?
You know, I have never tested the theory. It'd be something to try, but I just can't get anything to grow here.
Right. Well, maybe it's reversed for women. The less facial hair you have,
Yeah, there you go. I should, like, shave my eyebrows out and then I'll run.
Yeah, it's getting awkward. So, now you were just in Jamaica.
I was.
I don't know if I actually got to that point. Yeah. In Jamaica, you were running some race, or were you doing those steel drum bands? What were you doing there?
I was playing the steel drum.
Okay.
Well, trying to learn how.
Okay.
Unsuccessfully.
Okay.
I ran in the Jamaica International Invitational.
Okay.
Which is an IAAF World Challenge meet.
Okay.
And they don't shy away from saying that or making evident that the distances are not exactly what they're interested in. Although I did have the good fortune of watching our race on YouTube, and the announcers are quite critical of the Jamaican athletes in the field and basically saying that they don't know what the heck they're doing.
Really?
But the Jamaican fans, I mean, it was probably the loudest stadium I've ever been in.
Really?
The fans were just going nuts.
Wow.
And they appreciate our effort, as much as they appreciate the sprints. I just don't think that there was as much comprehension of exactly what we were doing.
What was happening.
Which is good because we ran pretty slowly.
Wow. They didn't think you were
bobsledding.
bobsledding.
But you won, right?
I did win.
You won. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you know your time, or doesn't matter?
3:41 something.
This was a mile?
I wish. It was 1,500.
Okay. That is so fast. It's just, yeah. Well, congratulations. That's very exciting. How long are you down there? Just a couple days or a week? Or did you make a whole thing out of it?
I tried to just be down there for as long as possible. Okay. I didn't want to leave, actually.
Well, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. We had places to be. Got to come back to Minnesota.
That's right.
And I brought some sunshine with me. So yeah.
You did.
You guys are very welcome.
This has been an absolutely beautiful day here in Minnesota, too. Or not from Minnesota, tuning in. So, Heather, what about you? What have you been up to since your trip to Poland?
Training hard. I kind of already took my break post USAs because I thought I was done, and then all of a sudden I was on a plane to Poland, competed.
Yeah.
And then from there I just felt like, well, I'm just ready to start competing again. I think I had a few really long runs where I was just kind of pissed off about how everything went.
Yeah.
But that's maybe fed into some of my success this spring so far. I raced 3 times like a week and a half ago within 6 days.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
All of them went really well. I was excited. You never really know, like, your first couple outdoor races, what's going to happen and how you're going to feel. So just feeling like I had those gears that I was looking for and could really come around and get what I wanted out of the races for the most part was really pleasing to me. I think more so than anything, I just am rusty with a little bit of tactical stuff. And as soon as I'm done with the race, I already know exactly what I did wrong to place higher. But that's something that you learn every time you race. So anyways.
Yeah, what'd you do wrong in the road mile?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
The road mile went fine. That was really good. You can't really ask for more than winning. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
you could just win by more.
Yeah, that's true.
Went even farther. Yeah. So you talked a little bit about being motivated after the Poland thing maybe didn't go as planned. What are, and I'll ask you that's next, what are some things that motivate you? Like, how do you stay motivated when you have a bad race or bad workout, or you just don't want to run in the morning? Like, what are some things that you do internally to kind of get your butt out the door?
I guess I have a few things. For just like that day-to-day kind of running thing, I'm lucky that I have a husband who runs quite a bit too, so on those days where I don't really feel like getting up, he's the one who's already getting up and lined up someone to run with, and so I just kind of jump on their parade and run with them, so that's really good for those day-to-day runs. But I get really up for workouts. I love workouts, and every time I run when I feel like I'm getting somewhere closer where I want to be. And just in general, I think motivation for me is always about just like exploring what my potential is and believing that there's always more. So I think most of us, whenever we finish a race, we can think of at least one point where we could have gained more but didn't. So just that practice of being more courageous and figuring out what you need is probably my biggest.
As an athlete, do you ever feel like you're settled? Like you're ever always something you can do better, always go a little faster?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy, especially for me in the off season when it's like a long time from the next race to be like, this is what I usually do every day for my recovery distance. Like, that's one thing that I've really changed the past couple of years that I think has been successful for me, though, is my average day isn't just a 6-mile run anymore, it's an 8-mile run, and those little things like that that just kind of add a little bit more to your base that have been working out well for me.
Okay. Cool. How about you, Mr. Leer? What do you do to stay motivated after good times, bad times? Anything in particular?
I hit the pot, and by that I mean the coffee pot.
Okay.
I
was going to ask you if that had something to do with your Jamaica trip or...
No, that's not. I didn't have ulterior motives in going down there. Actually, I did.
Okay.
I bought a ton of Blue Mountain coffee.
That's good coffee.
It's the best coffee in the world.
Yeah.
I
mean, I haven't had all the coffee in the world, but I've heard.
Yeah, I haven't either, but it's the best coffee I've ever had.
Okay.
It's really not about, for me, intrinsic motivation in getting out the door and like wanting to get there. It's the avoiding the guilt of not getting out the door.
Okay.
I'm pretty particular when it comes to logging weekly mileage, and I log every mile I run. And so at the end of a week, you can see if you don't run for a day. It's a 1.7. There's a big zero in there. Donut.
Very bad.
That didn't go well with a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess
donuts,
similar to touching on what Heather just said, I think the last couple of years it's just been a steady progression of more is not always better, but if you can incorporate more in an intelligent way into your training, you just get stronger and stronger and stronger, and up until you find that tipping point in which it's sort of
too much.
Yeah, you're not getting anything back for what you're putting in.
Right. Does that result in injury then, or is that
injury, burning out mentally?
Okay.
But I guess I also am fortunate to live in one of the best places on planet Earth.
Yeah, Minneapolis, right?
Yeah.
Come from one of the best places on planet Earth, and I have since moved. I think Minneapolis has digressed a little bit in weather since I was young.
Okay.
It just seems to be getting worse. I don't know. Someone said something about climate change, and I believe them. What was it, 50 days below zero this winter?
No.
55?
60.
62? Okay, see? I think that they were...
Those are the stats you do know.
Yeah.
They're about 15 days below 60 degrees in LA this year. So,
well, they say that Minnesota is a new California, so...
I have heard that.
Yeah, Google that. That's a real thing, actually.
Yeah. Don't move to LA. Move to Minnesota.
Yeah. Nice. So kind of jumping around a little bit, but going off of what you said about the intrinsic motivation and kind of going for it. So Heather is with Team USA Minnesota, which is a elite running development program here in Minnesota, hence the name. Will is with Team Will.
It's a very nice track club.
Very nice track club.
Satellite faction in Los Angeles.
Satellite faction in Los Angeles. What is that like? I guess I can ask you both the same question from different ends. So training with the team versus training primarily on your own, right? I mean, I know that you're running with people and doing some stuff. So let's start with Heather. What's it like training with the team, having people to run with, having a coach who obviously drives around in a car with you and helps you? It's a joke from the flow track video if you didn't see it.
Dennis actually usually doesn't drive with us, thankfully. That's just so that they can catch the camera as we're warming up and everything. Right. But it's nice for me to have a coach physically present at practice. I'd say that's number one thing for me, because it is motivating to have someone watching you. Like, you can tell yourself and play all kinds of mind tricks to tell yourself, like, okay, like, pretend that someone's watching me so I can just perform at my best. But having someone there and keeping me accountable, and someone who's watched me work out for years now, to be like, able to say, oh, we need to cut this back, or I think you can do more, and really get the most out of every single workout and not go overboard. So that's huge. And then just having teammates, for me, most of it is just really about warming up and cooling down. I get lonely in those times, and we just want to chat.
It's a hard mile.
So I really like having my teammates around for that, and even just being able to support each other and wake up and check Twitter and see other people's results and see that we're all like in a positive swing right now. It's just more like it confirms what you believe about your own training, that you're getting somewhere if everyone else is doing well also. And I have an awesome extra team, I guess you can say. The farm team, maybe we'll call it, of Team USA Minnesota, which is Ben Kampf, my husband, and Lance Elliott, my extra teammate who comes and works out with us.
Awesome that you have that ability to have so many different people feeding into your training. Yeah,
because sometimes I think when you have teammates, it can be a double-edged sword, because you want to have that person who's going to push you in practice and get something out of it, but at the same time, at some point, you might be competing for the same spot to make an Olympic team or anything like that, so you can get competitive sometimes. I would say I don't usually feel that way, but it's nice to have two people who come to practice with me every day, or most of the time, that are literally just there for me and will run my workout how they want me to, and they'll just push me along and do whatever they can to get the most out of it for me.
What is the best way that they do that? Is it kind of the tough love, or the just overly encouraging, or what helps you?
It's a little bit of each, I'd say. Usually Ben has sort of like the self-deprecating humor, where we come to practice every day and he's like, Heather, don't drop me. Just don't drop me, okay? And kind of builds me up in that regard. And then Lance will be the one who kind of like rubs elbows with me when he's about to drop off. And be like, sub 2, here comes sub 2, and just start yelling at me in a workout. That's right before he dies, so then I take off. But he sort of just like gives me those extra juices.
Injection.
My parents used to call me Seabiscuit in high school.
Seabiscuit.
Because you know how you have to like look them in the eye, Seabiscuit? Like if you have to get them right up next to each other, and then Seabiscuit would take off. So they said that I needed to like look my competitors in the eye and like go.
Have you ever done that?
No. Like look through it. Don't just keep running.
That would be awesome. Do you think you could do that at your next race?
We'll see. Okay. Usually you just want to burn everything in a forward direction, but
that's true.
Yeah, so I think there's just a little bit of that like extra gear that you find when somebody's rubbing elbows with you and telling you to go and reminding you what your goals are while you're out there running.
Sure. Cool. Now, Will, how does it work for you?
Well, it makes me want to join a group again.
Yeah.
Well, now, you used to train with some guy from New Zealand, right?
Yeah, I still do.
You do? Okay.
But as I said, I'm the satellite faction of the Very Nice Track Club. He happens to be at the home base in Ann Arbor.
Okay.
But I have a very great advantage in that I'm in the West Coast time zone, Pacific time zone. And he happens to be in the East Coast. And so by the time I usually have woken up and had my first cup of coffee, he's done with the workout. And my coach will call and say, here's what Nick did. I'm like, oh, I'm going to run at least 1 second faster for interval.
Nice.
And it's usually much easier for me because I'm in 65 and 70.
Right.
30 in rain or something.
Michigan, and it's brutal over there. And
yeah, I mean, it's still Minnesota. But
well, that's true. Nice.
You got to be willing to do the work, whether you're with a team or whether you're by yourself.
Absolutely.
And I trained with groups and with people for 5 years until I decided to make the move to do it solo. Mm-hmm. And it's hard. It's lonely. There's a lot of lonely days out there. Mm-hmm. But I think that...
Welcome to the mortal world of running.
Yeah, right. In my first year, especially of running by myself, I learned a lot about how hard I can push myself versus being pulled along. Mm-hmm. And I think that
things like you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. In workouts, when you have people around you, you don't really think about what you're doing, and I think that can be a lot of times to the detriment of athletes. When a coach just says, "Go do 15 times 400 at some suggested pace with this amount of recovery," or whatever. Maybe what you should be doing that day is 10. But if you're there with a group, you feel obligated to fulfill the workout for the people that you're working out with, especially if they're people in your group and not just your husband who will gladly say, let's be done. 10 is fine. Yeah. Not that Ben would ever say that.
No, of course not.
But you pick your battles, I think, more when I have found training on my own. There's days that I go out and I feel unstoppable, and I'll call Ron, Ron Warhurst, my coach, during a rest interval when I'm running around the track and be like, all right, Ron, I just finished whatever and I feel awesome, and he'll have to be like, good, you're done. You're done. So I'm like,
stop.
Should I do some 300? Should I do some 200? Should I do another 600? What do you want me to do? I want you to go home. All right.
Wow.
Done.
Do you listen to him typically?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Good.
But there's also days that I'm really glad Ron's not out there because he gets very excited when things are going well. And there's sometimes where I just need to pull the plug on a work. I'm like, this is not going well. And I think that's helped to have consistency in my training. Sure. You can have a bad workout every once in a while. Everyone does, and that's okay. It's how you bounce back from that and go into your next workout. You make sure you take your recovery easy and rest and do all the right things in between workouts. I guess also training on my own, I get to pick when and where I want to train, and so there's I have a lot of extra free time during the day that I can spend reading books out on the beach.
Nice. Is that kind of your typical day? Is run, read books on the beach, run, read books on the beach? And that's all that runners do, right? They
run and read books on the beach.
Run and read books on the beach, or Lake Calhoun, or is that pretty much it? I mean,
in an ideal world, maybe. That's not my life at all.
What?
I stay busy. I'm working here at Mill City Running, and I'm also coaching, doing some private coaching and a high school team at Apple Valley. So between those things and just trying to live life, stay in touch with my family and all those kind of things, I feel like most days I can be out of the house for a good 16 hours between training, work, and coaching. Okay. So sometimes.
Wait, how many hours?
I don't know, at least 12. It's all day from 10 to 8 sometimes, and it just seems like all day. Okay. So yeah, it can be a little bit crazy, but I think I operate well on just always doing something.
Schedule a plan, kind of knowing the day-to-day routine.
Yeah, for sure. And the day-to-day routine is never the same. So, on the days where I have more significant workouts, I usually don't come here, and I just coach in the afternoon, so I have the full morning to do whatever I need to do, or vice versa. So I find ways to keep it balanced. But I think for me, if I were only running and reading books on the beach, I might either go crazy or start overtraining just because I can. So it's sort of like my governor, keeping me in check.
Smart. So what do you do when you're not running? Besides reading on the beach? Or is that was yours?
I take walks on the beach.
Long walks on the beach?
No, not really. I'm usually pretty tired.
I suppose, yeah.
Everyone has their own modes of regeneration.
For sure.
haven't had a job outside of running since the 2007-2008 year, my first year out of college. And I think that was a great thing for me to do from transitioning from being a full-time student and athlete to, I thought, if I didn't have this job, I would want to bang my head against a wall. I would be so bored. Yeah. And then I sort of realized that, there's 100 different things that you can do training-wise, as Heather alluded to, that you can overtrain, and you just have to hold yourself back. Between a morning run and going to the gym or something, I make myself a leisurely snack. And
a leisurely snack. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You find ways to make. I view my training day as going from about 8:30 in the morning until about 5:30 at night. And there is, while I say I go down to the beach and read a book, if I wasn't doing that, that's about all I have the energy for. Right. And so, my parents can attest to this. They've now seen me in the full cycle, especially in full training, that it's a full-time gig. And how you choose to, if you have the energy or if what works best for you is staying busy, then by all means stay busy. What has seemed to work well for me, and which is why transitioning from running to any other careers can be very difficult, is just find those middle 2 hours of the day to go and grab a magazine and do something else.
Well, I think what's cool about both of your answers is that a lot of runners, such as myself, who are not, elite, we're always kind of looking for what is that one thing, like how am I going to get to the next level, how am I going to whatever, and there isn't that one thing. Yeah, there's no magic formula. Your way is completely different than your way, and you guys are really fast. You both represented the U.S. at Indoor Worlds, and so that's, you approach it from very different angles, but I don't say the same outcome, but it's, you both have a tremendous amount of success doing it completely differently, so that's really cool.
Yeah. We both train hard.
And you both train very, very hard in very different ways. So.
It's a quote once a runner. The secret is there is no secret.
There's no secret. The secret is to run.
Yeah. And you really have to know your body and what you can handle and everything like that, and listen to yourself.
Yeah, listen to your body, listen to what's working, what's not working.
Listen to your local shoe stores.
Yeah, your local shoe store like Mill City Running.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So. Got a flapjack Friday.
Yeah, Friday, 6:30 a.m. Flapjacks here. Well, actually there, but here. Moving on. As we all know, Meb just won the Boston Marathon, first American since like 1983, I think it was. What do you think the impact of that significance is going to have on the sale of ellipticos in the United States?
I can only see it going up.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
They've also made a promise that if you don't run a PR and you bought an elliptico, they'll basically buy it back from you.
Right.
I'd like to see how that works out. It's a bold claim.
It's a huge claim. Have either of you tried the elliptico? Team USA has some, don't they?
We have like one specifically for the team, and then Gabe is also kind of sponsored by them, so she has one that she keeps locked up with her. But I actually have not tried it yet.
Okay.
There was an incident where there was like a flat tire or something, and then none of us were really proactive enough to get it fixed for a while. So it was sitting in Megan Payton's garage for a long time. I think that may be where it still is, but I think we've suggested it is fixed, and we want to take it over to our house to try it. But I honestly don't cross-train a lot. Knock on wood, or whatever this is. I've stayed pretty healthy up to this point, not having to cross-train, but it is nice when you do have something come up to be able to do something, especially, like, we only get a definitive amount of nice weather in Minnesota. So if I got injured in the summer or the spring, I would be devastated if I had to sit inside every day in ellipticals. So it definitely is a great tool to have, and something that help you out if you're someone who needs to do kind of a mixed percentage of your like cross-training mileage and your regular mileage if you have massive injuries.
Cool. So moving off of running a little bit, you started running because you're in gymnastics, right? And your coach suggested that. Yeah. And you started to supplement soccer, is that correct?
Yes.
Or coach suggested or something?
I thought it would help me get faster.
Okay. And it did, probably.
Arguable.
Arguable, yeah. We're not getting slower, that I can see. Do you guys miss those sports? Do you ever wish you could go, or do you still play soccer? Do you still do whatever gymnastics does with the bars and the rings and
Not too much. Every once in a while, if I run by a playground or something like that, I'll try and do like my old like bar mounts and things like that, and I can still pull out probably more pull-outs than the average pull-ups than the average runner can, because I have some residual upper body strength in that. But I do still have gymnastics dreams, which is fun, just to go and like flip around on the floor and do all that kind of stuff. And like,
you have mats at your house and stuff?
No, nothing like that. My party trick, I guess, could still be that I can do handstands for a really long time. So
really?
That's fun. Yeah.
You do handstands?
For a really long time. Like milliseconds. I can go vertical and then
get up.
I blame that on shoulder mobility, though. Not on strength.
What did you do yourself?
Nothing.
Nothing? Oh.
Too many years in Minnesota.
That will do it. So speaking of Minnesota, changing gears even more, what are some of your favorite, this is a question we got on Twitter, what are some of your favorite bars or restaurants in Minneapolis, St. Paul, or greater Minnesota area, if you want to go there? Let's start with the insider, outsider.
My favorite restaurant in the Twin Cities is 112 Eatery. It has been for years. I've never been disappointed when I've gone there.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, I love that place. I also really enjoy Kwan's Vietnamese down Main Street. It's like 26
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that place is my jam. I go there every time I come home. 112 Eatery, I don't go every time I come home. But Kwan's I usually hit routinely once, maybe twice every trip.
Okay. We're reaching out to them for sponsorship later. Heather, what about you?
For me, I love that they're so close to us. That might be one reason why I love them. But the Longfellow Grill and the Blue Door in the Longfellow neighborhood are kind of our two like go-to places, especially for the brunch at Longfellow. Like all the Blue Plate restaurants have awesome stuff. Everything comes with avocado, which I love.
Oh, avocado.
Just like fresh, real ingredients and good sweet potato fries and stuff like that. So that's probably like just to go and eat, my favorite.
Which all those fresh ingredients probably came from California.
Maybe. All right. They have to be good for something.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you, California. We appreciate that. So another question is kind of looking at time here. Do you guys have one big goal for 2014? Maybe that's like a secret goal or something that this is what you want to accomplish in 2014, and there it is.
Yeah. It kind of already happened. Well, no. Once you hit your goals, the rest of the season evolves.
Right.
My main focus, kind of starting in October, was going to be the indoor season.
Okay.
And I really wanted to ramp up training and hit that as hard as I could, and then sort of see where that left me standing. I know I'm not alone in this. There was a bit of a lull post World Championships, so I took my break and had those long looks in the mirror and like, what are we doing now? What are we training for? Because of being an off year, you have, what are your motivations? There's Continental Cup, there's the World Relay Championships, there is money, which Heather just is swimming in at the moment.
Nice. You one of those money bins like Scrooge McDuck that you and Ben just kind of like.
I imagine after her week in Iowa in Boston, she is.
Oh my gosh.
And there's chasing fast times.
Right.
Times this year are pretty much something to put on a resume, but having a fast time to your name is going to help you down the road get into more and more races and what have you. And for me, this year also is an opportunity to, I guess my goal now is to run fast, but also to travel to some places that I haven't gone before. I think that one of the most unique things about running professionally is that you get to travel the world basically for free. And if you can find a day or an hour or 20 minutes when you are someplace I call it my living travel guide. To get out and see someplace and be like, do I want to come back here? Do I not want to come back here? Through my actual eyes and not just through pictures on the internet or something. Right. And so, as I talked about already, I went down to Jamaica. Had never been to Jamaica, really wanted to go. Cool. And one of the days the day before the race, probably not the smartest thing I've ever done, but spent a couple hours at the beach and had fish that were caught right in front of our eyes brought in and chucked on the grill, and it was an amazing experience. And it's just things like that I try not to take for granted. I hope to experience it more this year.
Wow, that's cool. We're gonna come back to the travel thing in a second, but Heather, you already accomplished your 2014 goals?
One of them, I'd say making the World Championship team, even through the back door, was still exciting for me to get out there and to make a final, and everything was huge for me just to kind of solidify that I do belong here. And even in this event, that was kind of new for me to be in the 1500 at a national championship and to place as well as I did was just really positive. Another thing I really wanted to do was get back on top of the U.S. Champs of the Road Mile, and with that, can't be called Queen of the Road Mile without winning the national one. So that was a really fun day. But beyond that, I think I'll have these few like long time coming goals. Running 2 flat .04 in the 800 last year, and my last race in Europe was like, come on, because like I ran 2 flat .12 like 2 days earlier, and then I ran 2 flat .04, and it's like I'm this close. I know if I just get one more race, like put me in, coach. I just want another opportunity, and I took a flight back, and then there's just no opportunities to race here. So breaking 2 is a must this year. It's break 2 or just be done. I don't know, but I won't be.
You said that here.
Be done with the 800.
Yeah. Move on up to 15 and screw that. But no, I think it'll happen. I'm really excited about how things are going. But I also want to get closer to like 405 or below in the 1500, and just like Will said, having a better resume is just so important in order to get those opportunities to get into races and show that you are a little bit. You have a few things that you could be entered in. It's just not every meet has an 8, not every meet has a 1500. So if you have a good PR in both, you have a better opportunity to get in all those Diamond League meets and all those really big ones where you have awesome opportunities to run fast. Because I'm a true believer that I can only run fast if I'm in a race that's fast. It's really hard to just go out there and do it all by yourself. And so those opportunities is really what it's about for me, is getting in some fast races and improving my times. Yeah, make a little money or a lot of money in some cases, but
a lot.
But also, I'm just so excited to have fun with some of the meets that I do want to go out and travel and do things like that, but I also love returning to places where I feel like this is my second home. So the St. Louis Festival of Miles is one that I've gone to the past couple of years to run the women's 8 there, and they just take such good care of us, and you feel like coming back as the returning champion of that meet. People just embrace you, and the kids are excited about it.
Do they carry you around on a little chair? Oh. Speaking of embracing, I just want to say thank you to Jeff and Becca for embracing us and asking if one of you will grab my laptop charger. This is live television. So,
Google Vision.
Google Vision, yeah. But no, that's cool. I think, definitely seeing, going to different races and coming back time after time, I think you have a sense of...
Yeah, they're like my extra families wherever I go. So you feel like you're never just like staying at a hotel by yourself. But that's true of like just seeing Will in a ton of meets all over the world and seeing other people. It's fun to see your friends in your environment.
For sure.
Do those kind of things.
So speaking of new environments and traveling, is there a one of the, you guys travel a lot all over the world, as you said. Is there a place that you like would go and run for free, or just go like what is your, I guess what I'm asking is, what's your favorite place in the world? Like how many extra pages do you have in your passports? Like have you filled?
I actually just was looking at that earlier today. I need to get more pages. I need to send it in for more pages, but I don't know how I'm going to do that because I have to have my passport to go to the Bahamas in a couple of weeks.
You're going to the Bahamas?
Yeah.
To run?
World Relay Championships.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's going to be incredible.
Do you need like a, do they have the equivalent of a caddy in professional running?
Absolutely. They're called rabbits.
Rabbits. I guess I was thinking somebody carrying your shoes.
Yeah. No, we don't. Okay. Unfortunately. But I'm into starting new trends. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me know.
I'll give you a call.
Okay. Please do.
Yeah. I'll work on that.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Heather? Is there a place that you really want to go or want to go back to, or?
Yeah, I mean.
Iowa.
Des Moines is great. I love it.
It is a great city.
I think internationally, one of the favorite places that I've gone would be Lucerne, Switzerland. It's just gorgeous, and it's so serene. You feel a little bit like you're at Disneyland, and like, is this real life? And they give you chocolate the second you check into your hotel, which is a plus in my mind.
Doesn't it come out of the taps there?
Yeah, it's like water turns on, you shower in chocolate, everything. The water's No,
it's out of your hair.
It's pretty sticky by the end of it.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of good things about like a lot of countries nearby there and everything. So I think it'd be cool to take a trip where you really get to explore all those things. And I secretly have this plan, which is not going to be secret anymore, but some of them do. I've told a lot of people, I guess. But my husband Ben wants to come with to travel with me when I race in Europe, and I'm like, yeah, that'd be good to do, but when I'm racing, it's not that fun because a lot of times you do need to hunker down and just focus on what you're doing. So I want on my year where I kind of know I'm on my way out for Ben to come with, because then it will be more focused on tourism and less focused on racing, but you still get paid to go, or have people at least pay you to go.
Someone to pay the expenses, So
that would be ideal.
I've heard that a lot of times when athletes, runners are traveling like that, you basically see your hotel room, the car ride to the track, car ride back, your hotel room. That's kind of it. Has that been your experience? Or it sounds like you might.
I mean, that's what I was alluding to earlier. Is that if you can find 10 minutes and just walk out of the hotel and look up and see where you are. A lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot, there are some people that don't do that, that they are very focused on task at hand, and it's I'm here to do a job, I do my job, and then I leave. And I think that's sort of, in my opinion, it's a little bit of a wasted opportunity. Because a lot of those places that we go, like Luzerne, Switzerland, it's not cheap to get there. You have to fly into Zurich, and Switzerland is one of the most expensive countries in the world. Then you take a train or a bus, and all of these things are being organized for you and paid, and it's like you just kind of take for granted how difficult it is sometimes to get to some of these places. But I think, I'm with Heather. There's going to be a victory, a grand victory tour at some point of going out to the races.
You
run your tail off because you don't want to upset people. But it's sort of like, maybe the night before the race, you're not sitting in the hotel, and you go out and have a really nice dinner and maybe a glass of wine.
Go to bed at 7.
Sample their local, whatever drink they're famous for locally. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's actually a good transition. Someone on Twitter asked, what is your favorite beer? A couple people actually asked that.
Well, that's a really good question. I don't have a single favorite. When I'm in Minnesota, the new beers coming out of Surly are delicious, but if I'm going to sit down on a warm summer day, which is the only time I come to Minnesota, I hunker down with a 6-pack of Grain Belt.
I was going to say that. Northeast or premium?
Oh, I like the classics. I go with premium.
Yeah.
Never mind the fact that Jeff is drinking one over there right now. Cheers!
And I'm jealous.
Sponsorship.
I'm sitting here jealous. But I would say, I actually, this last summer, I base in Belgium in the summers. And I had an opportunity to have West Vleteren, which has been renowned as the best beer in the world.
What's it called?
West Vleteren.
How do you spell that?
WESTV Vleteren.
I'll Google that.
Yeah, they did a whole show about this place on NPR. It's where these Belgian monks, they live in an abbey and they brew beer. Yeah. Okay. And it was phenomenal, but it was like $20 for the beer. So that's probably the best beer that I've ever had.
Okay.
But I can't afford to.
Yeah, that's
drink a lot of that.
$20 or €20?
Well, I got it on the gray market. You're not supposed to resell it, but I got it for €15, so it's about $20.
Okay, cool.
That's an irrelevant question for me if you're looking for their next.
Heather, what is your favorite hydration beverage? Gatorade, Noon, Powerade.
Noon, of course.
Noon, of course.
I just recently became a Noon ambassador. I've been an unofficial Noon ambassador.
Yeah, Heather got me on Noon. So Noon, if you're watching this.
Yeah, so good. Yeah. So I've had people who come into the store and ask me about it, and everyone just Jeff and Becca turn to me and say, "Ask Heather. She's tried them all. She loves them." They're not sticky like some other beverages
light
are,
and refreshing,
and they taste good. And I drink them more than I probably should. I really concentrate them though. You're supposed to have a certain number of ounces per tab, and I double it usually and make it really strong. I like kind of sugary things. So if you're gonna make me drink something, I don't drink beer, but I do a Moscato wine that tastes basically like grape juice.
Okay.
Very sweet grape juice.
Yeah, very sweet grape juice. If you can't taste the alcohol, then I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Noon flavored Noon.
Yeah.
Could you put a Noon in a beer and make it better for you?
Oh no.
How would that work?
No.
Do they have neutral flavored beers? We had Noon pancakes here one Friday, and they were actually pretty good. Yeah. So speaking of traveling, if you guys were stuck in an airport, what would you have with you and why?
What would I have with me?
Yeah. You can only have 3 things with you. What would it be?
How long am I stuck?
Have you ever seen that Tom Hanks movie?
I don't need a razor, so that's out the window.
What about conditioner?
Shampoo? Yeah, I've learned from a lot of women about hair care, and shampooing your hair frequently is not good for it.
I agree. I could do that.
I would probably desire a toothbrush.
Okay. Smart.
Are we talking as a wireless internet?
Yeah, I guess whatever's in a normal airport you can have too.
Okay.
I was gonna ask this on a deserted island.
Okay. In an airport, I would have
spend a lot of time in an airport.
In an airport, I would have a credit card.
Okay, a deserted airport. How about that?
A deserted airport.
Let's assume that we have a wallet with all the stuff you need to have, like your ID, your passport, your money, because that otherwise is important.
Okay. I'll take a toothbrush. I would like my iPad and travel pillow.
Okay.
Sleeping on those airport chairs is awful.
It's hard when there's the bars between.
Yeah, it's just the worst.
Yeah. We value hygiene, connection with the outside world.
Yeah, well, if I can only have one item, my iPad has about 600 books on it, so that would keep me set for about a month.
Okay.
That's a lot of reading.
It is a lot of reading.
If it's just me, I'm going to be pretty bored.
There you go. You're not on a beach, so
yeah. No.
Heather, same question.
I was thinking sort of along the same lines. I would definitely want my iPhone and my charger. I would take up two just to be able to have that because it will not last forever, though. That was a rookie mistake.
That was.
Well, my case has a solar charger on it, so.
There you go. Yeah, so that would be a necessity just for in terms of connection with the outside world, and just like you have your Delta app or your Fly whatever app to make sure like you know what's going on because usually you're stuck for a reason and they need to keep you updated on that. So that's a plus.
That's true.
And just to call family and be like, talk about how miserable you are if you're
stuck there. Yeah. Okay.
But then a third item, I was thinking toothbrush would be mine too because there's nothing worse than like getting off an international flight and feeling like your teeth are growing hair.
Yeah. Or any flight for that matter.
Yeah, it's true. But maybe just to be more feminine, I would choose. I always carry around those.
Scrunchie?
No, those like face, like white things that like.
Oh yeah, the Noxzema or Neutrogena or.
Yeah, any brand.
Faceazema
just those like
I know
face cleanser things. Because sometimes you feel like you're just covered in grime by the time you're done traveling and going through everything. So.
Okay. Okay. Well,
I couldn't come up with anything really good.
Super helpful. That's okay. I mean, I think you won the beer question. So with West, sketchy.
You can just Google best beer in the world and it comes up.
And that'll pop up.
#1 hit. Okay. Is it actually
I don't really know you to turn down any beer though.
Is it a picture of you holding it?
No, as I said, I was on the gray market, so it'll probably be like blurred out, you know.
Yeah, or like a paper bag or something.
Yeah.
Maybe. Possibly.
I saved it until my last day of Europe this year, though.
You did?
It was a good celebration.
You guys have, so a question I also got on Twitter, a lot of people are asking questions about food, nutrition, whatever. Do you guys have are you really rigid in what you eat? Or just make sure to eat healthy?
Heather said this earlier. She likes the Longfellow Grill because she can get real
avocado. Yeah.
I think that just, I'm the same way. Real, basic foods. Healthy.
Shop the perimeter of the grocery store kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Start in the produce aisle and then,
Yeah, for sure.
My favorite of fruits and vegetables is Haribo Golden Bears.
Because they have real fruit juice in them.
That's how I knock out about 6 or 7 servings of fruit and vegetables a day.
It's like a whole package of them you gotta eat, a whole box.
Yeah, you know. Okay. This engine burns hot. It can burn any type of fuel.
It's true. I always say
like a camping fuel that way.
Yeah, I always say I run so I can eat. Or like eat a little bit more than the average human and a little bit more dessert than maybe most people think they probably could. So I usually try to get through my day eating healthy, and then after dinner is like where I can have a lunch of ice cream or M&Ms or something. Those are usually our #2 desserts in the household because then you can down dark chocolate M&Ms like there's no tomorrow. Yeah, I would say like the thing about real foods is so important. I think a lot of people are like, oh, you must have some really restricted diets. Like, I don't think anyone that I know counts calories at this stage in the game. You're just eating to fuel yourself and making sure making sure that you're eating things that are going to propel you to better performances and training and things like that. But yeah,
What was in the cocktail you were eating when you came in here?
Oh, Ben made me a smoothie before we came. It was, I think it had bananas, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, vanilla is like kind of a secret ingredient in our smoothies. And
okay. Yeah, like protein powder or yogurt?
I think we put yogurt in this one. There was some stuck on top, so that didn't quite get mixed up. I didn't know because I didn't make it. But usually for me, the bananas and the milk and the vanilla, I could just do that alone, and I love that kind of smoothie. Just like pretty good stuff.
Awesome. Smoothies are fantastic. We got a number of good smoothie recipes on the blog. Shameless plug. So we're kind of wrapping up here, getting to the end of our time.
It's 7 hours and 45 minutes. So
it has been. So Google has an 8-hour limit. So before we talk about, I think you guys have a race coming up here soon. Before we talk about that, I'm curious, what's a question you've never been asked in an interview before? Can you think of something you're like, why don't people ever ask me about this? I really want to talk about my G.I. Joe collection or my this or that collection or my baseball collection. Is there anything you can think of that you've never been asked before?
That we wish they would ask?
Yeah. Like something you're proud of, or just something you want to share with the world, or share with the millions of viewers who are watching this, the runners of all ability levels, from people who are doing their first mile on Thursday to people who are running their 50th marathon in October. It's a crazy big question.
Yeah.
I'll answer this one with sort of a profound answer, I guess.
I love profound answers.
I know it's not really. I guess it's not profound if you say it's going to be profound. If no one has ever asked me if I think that running is relevant, and does it is what we're doing? Do I find that there's value in what I do? Is it making the world a better place? And well, Heather just answered in the affirmative, so I guess I came up with the question. I'll let her answer.
This is good. I can come up with something crazy and make you answer this after this. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it does. I always say that I don't think there's a better community out there than the running community. Just if you saw the way that things came together after Boston last year, that was a tragic event and crazy, just horrible things happened there. But we came back stronger, and participation in the race was even bigger, and just the incredible generosity that people poured out to help out those victims and things like that, I think is just one example. But then besides that, I think you just have to be a pretty optimistic person to keep on doing this over and over again and keep trying and reaching your best and believing that there is something more in you all the time. So there's that, and I don't know. I mean, you get to know people on runs, and I think we just have a baser level of understanding for humans, I think, when you go on 15, 16, 17, however long the runs are, with people.
Right.
And I don't know. I just think that runners are the best quality people you can find, and where we like to be able to respect our environment and give back and do all of those things that really, I think, make a difference worldwide, not just in little areas.
Right.
So I think yes.
Counter-argument?
That was perfect. That was perfect.
Yeah. And it's so cool because it's all relative. We may be running professionally, but people understand what we're talking about and our training and everything else, and know what it's like to have goals. And
absolutely.
While we may be doing something that, I always said, why would I ever want to run in circles? It seems so dumb, but it's just so much bigger than that, and you just have to really observe that to believe.
Well, I think it's so cool. It's the only sport really in the world where you have, you can participate at so many different levels, from the professional all the way down to, the person who's running their first 5K. And, I'll take football or some of these other sports. You can go play football, but it's a completely different
and then you can do
thing.
Long term.
Right. Yeah. So you can take care of yourself. But yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So
I'm supposed to have a question by now?
Yeah.
You don't have to. We can just keep moving on.
Yeah. I mean,
you could think about it and ask at the press conference for the upcoming TC 1 mile.
I just came back from
Thursday, May 8th.
Yeah, I just came back from the Pittsburgh Marathon and a weekend of events there, and actually, I was really impressed with some profound questions I got from elementary school visits.
Oh, okay.
So maybe I've been asked them now, but I just thought they were so cool that they came from children.
Okay.
But just people asking, what's the hardest thing you ever had to face in your running career, or what's the biggest obstacle you had to overcome, I think is a really cool one to ask, because we go in there and we boast about our accomplishments and say how great we are, but then someone wants to know, is this hard too? And for like a third grader to ask that. That was pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
Well.
So now you have to answer that. What's the, what was the question? What's the hardest?
What's the biggest thing you've had to overcome in order to
get where you are?
Yeah.
Repeated failure, I guess. I mean, you could view it as failure, or you can view it as like almost success. There's something to be learned and something to be proud of pretty much every time you tote along, in my opinion. You know, some days you have it, some days you don't. But I guess I've been on the short end of the stick a number of times at the U.S. Outdoor Champs, and one of the more difficult ones to come over with. I thought I was in, you know, the best shape of my life, rounding into what I at the time was the best shape of my life in 2011, and missing out on a world championship spot by 0.01 seconds, which is, you know, it's not even it's a designation of time. We can't fathom how little amount of time that is. But that's, you know, it's the difference between
your beard,
accomplishing the goal, the singular goal that you had set out for the entire year, and if I would have leaned a little bit more, you know. And so rebounding from that, and that was in 2011. Rebounding from that and knowing that there was more to accomplish, and there's more to the sport than just making that team, was a really hard thing to come back from, but happy it did.
That's cool. That's really cool. Well, thanks to both of you for being here tonight, and for all of you watching. We had a few technical difficulties in the beginning, but we magically solved them. So this, I think actually, this is the 60th anniversary of Roger Bannister breaking the 4-minute mile barrier. And it's also the 10-year anniversary of the TC 1 mile, which is this Thursday, May 8th in downtown Minneapolis. If you'd like to register for that, you can. Just go to TCM events. Or you should. It's a very fun race. That's only a mile. And how fast could you run a mile? Maybe that answer that. So on that note, there's a couple fun things with that event. There is a derby, which for everyone 18 and up, you can actually pick the name of one of the elites, maybe them, and then yeah, I don't think I think it's random. But if your runner wins, then you get some fit socks, I believe. There's also for kids, there's trading cards, which I left back there, but the elites will sign them for you, and then you can trade to get all Heathers or all Wills, or get a complete set of them, whatever you want to do. There's also a bunch of cheer zones along. It's downtown Nicollet Mall. There's a bunch of cheer zones and a bunch of different restaurants, and what's really great about this event is there's 7 different waves, and so every, well, in these guys' case, 3 minutes and 50 some odd seconds, or 8 or 9 minutes, there's a whole herd of people running down. It's just extremely fun, a lot of excitement, a lot of cheering, a lot of good time. So come down for that. So on that note, any final words, either of you? Thank you for watching. Check out MinneapolisRunning.com. Big thank you to Jeff and Becca for hosting us at Mill City Running. Come down, buy some shoes or one of these cool sweatshirts behind me. Or some Noon, or some Fit Socks, or some
Nikes,
Ultras. Okay, now we're just rambling. If any of those companies would like to sponsor the next live Minneapolis Running Google Hangout, give us a call. So thank you. Have a good day, and be stronger runners and live happier lives.
Come visit Minnesota.
Come visit Minnesota.
June through August.
Good night, everyone.